Abiding in the Word, Bible Search, Bible Study. So glad that you're here with us tonight. Tonight we would that you would look at the third Psalm, Psalm number 3. And we're going to focus our attention on verses 4 and 5. I suggest to you that you read the entire psalm. Verses 4 and 5, Psalm number 3. Verse 4, I cried to the Lord with my voice, and he heard me from his holy hill, Selah. Verse 5 said, I lay down and slept. I awoke, for the Lord sustained me. For this particular lesson, we want to ask the question, what's keeping you up at night? What's keeping you up at night? This Psalms remind me of an old school song. The lyrics went such as this: I couldn't sleep at all last night. I was tossing and turning and tossing and turning all night. Now, I'm sure many of you around my age understand and probably danced off that song, tossing and turning all night. For some people, falling asleep is as simple as lying down on a soft pillow. But for others, it is a frustrating process of tossing and turning and clock watching. Whether you awake refreshed and ready to face the day, or you awake red-eyed and sluggish, depends largely on how well you sleep. My brothers and sisters, many people today are facing the fear of contacting the COVID-19, the fear of economic uncertainty, and they are restless, uneasy, worried, and internally discombobulated. In other words, folks are rattled. How well we sleep sometimes indicate how much we really trust the Lord. In verse number 5, David said, I lay down and slept. I awoke, for the Lord sustained me. We may think falling asleep is as simple as lying down on a soft pillow. But what if we had been where David was? David was in the process of fleeing from his son Absalom, who had turned against him and driven him from Jerusalem. Let us get a little background to this particular psalm. The background for the third psalm is found in 2 Samuel chapter 15 and verses 13 and 14. can read the whole chapter. But verse 13 says, now a messenger came to David, saying, the hearts of the men of Israel are with Absalom. So David said to all of his servants who were with him at Jerusalem, arise and let us flee. Let us run away. Or we shall not escape from Absalom. Make haste to depart, lest he overtake us suddenly and bring the disaster upon us, and strike the city with the edge of the sword. Absalom was in the process of overthrowing David. He was in the process of taking the kingdom away from David. And so now David and his men were on the run. And we find David in the wilderness. David said, I lay down and slept. I awoke, for the Lord, he said, sustained me. Now David was in the wilderness with his army. It would be difficult to lay down and sleep knowing that you are in a dangerous wilderness, wild animals all around. But what was more dangerous and fearful for David was that his own son was against him. It wasn't the physical danger that kept David awake. He knew God would protect him. But it was the inter-spiritual and emotional agony. David's pain was on the inside. David's pain was mental aggravation, heartbreak, heartache, mental pain of having his own flesh and blood trying to take possession of the kingdom from him. Somebody he birthed, or somebody he laid a seed for to come into the world, was now after him to overthrow him and even take his life. My brothers and my sisters, difficult circumstances often rob us of our peace as well as our way of thinking. When you find yourself in adverse circumstances or in the face of fearful consequences, my brothers and sisters, confess your trouble and declare that you trust in God. Then be encouraged that God protects you and gives you peace in the midst of the storm. My brothers and my sisters, Bible search with me. Psalms 127, verses 7 and 8. God is our protection. Even if David only got a little sleep, he went to sleep because he knew that God was his protection. The psalmist says in Psalm number 127 and verses 7 and 8, the Lord shall preserve us from evil. Not just evil, all evil. He shall preserve your soul. The Lord shall preserve your going out and coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Now, if you believe that's the question. If you believe this, then you can lay down and sleep at night. No matter what you're going through, no matter what circumstances you're faced with, when you know that God is your protection, when you know that God neither slumbers nor sleep, you can lay down and sleep at night. This psalm starts, as we hurry to a close, this psalm starts with David's cry. In verse 1, David says, "Many are they who rise up against me." The messenger said that Absalom had the heart of the people of Israel. And Absalom had a huge following. David said in verse number 1, "Many are they who rise up against me." So David in verse 1 is pleading for help. But look at God. The psalm ends with verse 8, with David singing a song of praise. David starts out with a cry in verse 1 for help. And in the end of the psalm, David winds up singing a song of praise. Listen, brothers and sisters, listen. Your day might begin with you pleading for help. Your day might begin with you pleading for help. But if you are trusting God, it could end by you praising him for the help that he has given you. Just like David. Your day might start off bad. It might start off wrong. But before the day is over, you can end up giving God glory and praise. Listen, whatever is keeping you up at night, whatever is keeping you up at night, if it's a child going astray, a spouse that just won't do right, if you need money, if your pantry is empty. I just heard on my way to church that there are 26 million people that are food insecure. And at this time of the year, this time of the season, because you don't have sufficient for what you need, it might be keeping you up at night. But whatever is keeping you up at night, listen, make a commitment that for the next 30 days, you can form a habit in 30 days. You can form a good habit if you're consistent in 30 days. Make a commitment the next 30 days that you will practice dropping or ignoring any negative and fearful thoughts that enter your mind. Make a commitment that I'm going to ignore. I'm going to drop any negative, fearful thoughts that enter my mind. And as they return, they will come back. They will come back. let them go again and again and again and again until they disappear completely. Let them go. Let God have it. Let them go. Isaiah says in Isaiah 26:3, you, meaning God, will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you. Why would he keep you in perfect peace if your mind is stayed on him? Because he trusts in you. Because you trust in God, he will keep your mind in perfect peace. You can lay down and go to sleep at night. You can lay down and rest. You can get a good night's sleep because you know that God is your protection. And I heard somebody say, well, since God neither slumbers nor sleeps, since God is up all night, then why don't I just go to sleep? Because he is my protection. He is my keeper. He will not allow evil to overtake me. He will bless my going out and my coming in from this day forth and even forevermore. Whatever is keeping you up at night, my brothers and my sisters, turn it over to the Lord. He's better equipped to handle it than we are. You can be saved tonight. Romans 10:9. If you confess with your mouth and believe in your heart that God has raised Jesus Christ from the dead, you shall be saved. Romans 10:13 says, for whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. God bless you tonight. Let us, in our prayer groups and in our time of prayer, lift up a special prayer for Minister Shannon Nelson, who is going into surgery on Wednesday morning. Let us lift up Minister Shannon Nelson. Let us lift up those of us that we know are experiencing some kind of difficulty in their life. Shannon can go down Wednesday morning with confidence that God is her protection, that he'll see her through. My brothers and my sisters, it is crucial that we return to the polls to vote for the senators and for the Public Service Commissioner. You can pick up your communion this week at the church between the hours of 1 and 4:30. Let us not forget our Christmas stocking gifts. We have some needy families, and we certainly want to be a blessing, those of us that can. And the only reason why God has not allowed us to need that blessing is because he's blessed us to be a blessing. So God bless you, and may he keep you, and we trust and pray that you can lay down tonight and get you some good sleep. Lay down tonight and get you a good night's rest, knowing that God is our protection. Well, it's that time. Get it right. Be safe, be smart. Social distance, wash your hands, wear your mask. And until the next time, see you.